yourself. And it looks like we are ready to get into the champion draft here. I'm so interested to see what Black Dragons and QG are going to bring out to try and take each other down. QG with the first pick.
Yeah, and QG picking that Makoa. I mean, we talked about it. They've learned it over the course of their games with D69, and I think they're excited to use this, but Black Dragons responding with Fernando.
Yep, both great picks. Taking the Cassie away from Knight. QG loves this pick. So do Black Dragons, able to respond back. Frontliner prioritization, though, coming out from QG. If I'm Black Dragons, I'm trying to take Maldamba away right here to get it out of QG's hands.
Yeah, I could definitely see that being an interesting and strong pick for QG. And in fact, I love that they decided to go with Shaolin the Desert Wind over that Maldamba. I feel confidence here, right? Like, that's what it's got to be.
Yep, and why is it that you like the Desert Wind against Black Dragon's composition as it currently stands?
I like it specifically because they picked it there, right? They said, okay, we could get Maldamba, 2 front lines Maldamba, that's great. They said, no, let's get Shaolin. And that tells me that they've got something planned. So let's let them show us what that is.
I like the Ruckus, the double frontliner with the Ying. I think we're going to see Ruckus try and hold down the point. An important thing that I would love to see happen here is this Makoa providing peel for this backline, because this is the low mobility, kind of a glass cannon backline from QG, and 2 very dangerous, lethal flankers have been drafted for Black Dragons. Evian and Droxus are going to be licking their chops when they see Victor and Shaolin lining up shots in the backline.
And that's the thing about those flankers, right? At this stage of the game, you're looking at the opponent's draft, and you're like, okay, who's my target? Well, you've got 2 tanks. They're not really your target, right? You'll shoot them if you get a good opportunity. You get some headshots in, and you can get some really good kills there. But it's not what you're focusing on. Ying, she's very slippery. She summons illusions, and her movement ability, Dimensional Link, allows her to swap places with her illusions, and she can do it repeatedly for a short period of time, so it's very hard to hunt her down. But Shaolin and Victor, they're not very mobile.
Yep, they operate from long range. Shaolin has no fall off, but projectile speed. Victor, a hit scan medium to long range damage dealer as well. Cassie, I believe, is the one from Black Dragons. She's got no fall off. She's going to operate at a safe distance to try and chip these tanks down, but there's going to be so much healing and so much damage reduction on this Ruckus, but it's very important for QG to get control of the area of the point, and that's something that they struggled with a little bit in their previous set against D69.
That's right. They're going to need to get in there with their Makoa and the Ruckus and hold down the fort. And if they can do that, they can get the repulse reveal going, which reduces the damage of everyone around Ruckus for a short period of time. Ying sets up her illusions. You've got some very powerful front line that Black Dragons are going to have a hard time cutting through because they really don't have that backline damage, right? Cassie is sort of a more of a mid-range damage dealer than, say, Victor or Shaolin. And I don't think she's really the best at cutting it through tanks. She can do it when pressed, but I think she's more about moving around and outplaying people.
So Ruckus, very momentum-based pick. QG, very momentum-based team. It would appear Makoa, like we mentioned, I think is going to be so important in this series to get that early pick and get that momentum rolling for Ruckus, because he doesn't have, any big, hefty deployable shields like Fernando does, but he does have repulsor field, but this requires, like we mentioned, for you to be on the point. So Makoa, look for him to go for the early picks. Also a great option to shut down Eevee and Droxus.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? The Eevee gets pulled. Makoa, after he pulls someone with Dredge Anchor, he gets extra damage on the next shot, and he's going to do about 1,000 damage. Eevee has a very small health pool. It's 1,800. So all you need is one shot or a burst of fire from Victor to kill her. And I think it's really going to be critical that QG gets those Dredge Anchor hits onto Eevee and follows up real quick to get those kills, because otherwise she can just cause chaos everywhere.
And then Droxus also particularly weak against Makoa. His defensive ability, Reversal, where he just blocks all projectile shots and then throws them back at his targets. That's going to be penetrated, though, by the Dredge Anchor. And he'll be pulled straight through. Shaolin hitting for 1,000 damage as well. That is some dangerous follow-up. 2,000 just from one shot from Makoa and one shot from Shaolin. No one.
I mean, that's instant, right? There's no time to respond. Even Eevee, who can immune herself, put herself in an ice block, she cannot do it in time. It is physically impossible. So if this Makoa is playing well, it's going to be difficult.
And I think it's a good time to highlight, what Maldamba can bring to the table. Because I think he's a champion that very highlights well the loadout system.
Yeah, he's
in
very
Paladins.
unique.
And talk a little bit about some of the loadouts for Madama, and just how loadouts and Paladins work as a whole.
So in Paladins, you have all of these cards. There's 16 per champion right now, and you can combine them to create different loadouts to prioritize different parts of your kit. But I think what's critical about Maldamba is what his kit does. He's got a long-range heal, he's got an area heal, but I think the most interesting thing about him is that when he reloads, he throws his snake. It's a spitting cobra that spits venom and does very good damage for a support in a short range, and then he throws it, and if it hits someone, it's gonna stun them. And so there are Maldamba builds that are focusing on that, where you're trying to throw snakes as fast as possible and just hit someone with a stun, lock them down, which is particularly effective against a tank like Makoa.
Yeah, and Ruckus as well, being so slow-moving, stationary on the point. We see Maldamba kind of have a resurgence here. He combines very well with some of these loadouts and items like Deft Hands that increase reload speed even further than his loadout is going to be allowing. And Brazil is still looking very, very hyped up for this match, trying to keep the crowd on their side.
That's right. You can see Brazil is staying excited going to this match, whereas QG, they're more the silent types, right? They're calculating, they're thinking, they're calm, and I like that. After a set like that against D69, I don't think raw excitement is enough. You've got to be calm and collected as you move forward.
Yeah, definitely looking stoic right now is Team QG. Who are you liking, though, overall as a team composition?
Man, it's tough. I really like Makoa. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna give you a split. I'm gonna go with Black Dragons unless it's Plushie Makoa, because you never bet against Plushie.
The squeaky toy gonna be very dangerous for Black Dragons, and I gotta agree. I like Team QG's composition. It takes more execution, however.
Yeah, it does. You gotta just hit your shots.
The peel is absolutely going to be necessary from this Makoa player to keep Shaolin and Victor alive. If they keep these two backliners alive in these team fights, QG are going to roll Black Dragons.
So we haven't really talked about Ying. I mean, I mentioned her earlier, but one of the things that I love about this character is she's a support. She's not super damage focused, but what she can do is really impactful amounts of damage in a very short period of time if she plays it just right. She summons all these illusions that are going to heal her team automatically, just point and they shoot and they heal someone, and it's really effective at just healing for a large amount of health. But you can also detonate them.
Yeah, we talk about items like Cauterize that really start to shut down the healing as you get into the later game. So that's where good support players start to separate themselves.
Yeah.
Once the healing's off the table, what else do you bring to the table? Maldamba, we mentioned crowd control and stuns. Ying can bring large amounts of burst damage, but it has to be precisely timed because, like you mentioned, that shatters her illusions. That's her source of healing. So a lot of decisions to be made on both of these support champions. Maldamba, he has to decide if he's spamming his reload to keep that Ruckus stun lock. He's not doing any damage.
That's right. He's not really doing any damage. Very little, at least. I think it's like 50 if you just shot once and then reload.
It depends how much ammo was left in your clip.
That's right.
When you let loose the stick. But if you're going for the stun lock style, you're only firing one shot before you're reloading.
And you're at close range. So, let's say you're stun locking Makoa, you're up at close range. Shaolin's gonna love it, right? You're right next to his tank. He's gonna be in range. He's just gonna bam, get rid of you.
Yeah, Cuss Cutie taking Jirogos out of the sky. Some serious style plays coming out from Maldamba, and that's how you separate yourself as a support. There are very skill cap high champions like Maldamba in the game. The hit scan heal is very effective at any range, but it's like hitting a snipe. It is very
especially
difficult.
with an Eevee, right? Like Eevee's flying around, she gets low on health, she's running from a fight. If you're amazing, just turn, right click, boom. You're healing her because it's hit scan. You just have to put your crosshair over and right click, and it's going to heal her for most of her health because she's got a very small health pool.
And that is going to be very important here. Eevee, a character that can self-sustain fairly well on her own. She's got some pretty interesting loadouts based around that, but Maldamba supporting her from afar is definitely going to be important. We talked about QG, how important the peel is going to be, keeping these flanks alive. The key is going to be the battle of the backline right now between Shaolin, Victor, and Eevee, and then Jiraxis trying to take them out. Whoever comes victorious in that part of the team fight, I feel will oftentimes take the team fight as a whole.
Now, Victor is a very focused character. I mean, he basically has two main things he does. He throws grenades and he shoots his gun. You shoot your gun, then you throw a grenade. You throw your grenade, then you shoot your gun. And that's what you're focusing on. So how do you deal with those flankers like Eevee and Androxus? How do you outplay them?
A lot of times it comes down to the decision to just go pedal to the metal. You know, he has Hustle, which is an ability with no cooldown, but all he does is just increase his movement speed while he's channeling that. But oftentimes it's not enough to get you away from Androxus, to get you away from Eevee, and all you're left with is your damage. So you just have to say, all right, I'm gonna go out guns blazing. Might as well try and take her out with me.
That's right. So for Hustle, like, if I'm trying to get away from someone, I have two options, right? I have to run through the map to try and get away. They're probably faster than me, right? So I'm probably going to die unless I can get to my healers or something, right? Or you find something to run circles around. And, you know, I can't wait to see what this Victor's going to do.
The comps on paper both looking very dangerous, and will come down to execution. We are ready to get in game. We've broken it all down for you. Team QG versus Black Dragons, game number 1 coming at you. Here we go. Let's get this crowd hyped up. Yejing on the point right now. Going to be blinking up onto the high ground. Skullis on the Eevee, showing some long-range fires. Pings taking down First Blood. Goes to Knight, though, taking down Butter. Butter brings down Master Lu with him. And now it is all calm on the first front here.
Yeah, QG going in hard and picking up those initial kills is going to be big. The capture point is at 20%, and it's a nice kill picked up by Mikasa, who's doing very well this game, already 2-0. But Fernando riding back in, and he could get some really big damage. Eevee blinks in as well, able to help clean up those kills.
Ying now isolated in the back line. Black Dragons gonna let her get away. That could come back to haunt them. The healing's gonna come out now. Dimensional linking her way out. Victor doing a lot of damage. Knight under some pressure, though. Androxus, you can hear him nether stepping hot on his tail. This is the battle of the backline we were talking about, and there's the peel. It's going to be so important from QG. 2 for 3 in favor of China.
Here's the thing. QG might have done well in that small fight, but they're not fighting on the point. And now Makoa, Ruckus is in there. He's going to be able to hold that ground. Meldama can't do anything about the mech in his face with those dual guns. Flank around the side from Makoa. Pull, and that's going to be a kill. Spira takes that one, and now the capture point is ticking up in favor of QG. But Black Dragons, they're on their way back in, and they've got to get on here. They've got to contest because there's not much time left.
81%. Here comes Butter. The frontliners looking to bust things up. 90 to 81%. 93 for QG, the winner of this team fight. Will reign supreme. Double kill for the Eevee in the back line. Skullis on fire as we are in overtime, but QG still in control of the point.
Yeah, they're on the point. Cassie's got to go in. She's got to pull a miracle here, but she just doesn't have the health. Makoa with the pull to lock her down, but overtime is being held off by Eevee. She's so slippery, and Drox is coming back in, but he's pulled out of the reversal. He will fall. Now it's only Fernando. He's got a ton of health, but it's not going to do much as he can't get the kills. Overtime ticks down, and it will go the way of QG.
Yep, and the ultimate's starting to come online now for QG. Hexafire available for Ruckus, but we're seeing a big grouping from Black Dragons right here. Some nice poke damage coming out from Mikasa Shaolin. Here's the Heat Haze. He's going to be fully stuffed, leaving clones as he shoots. He's working his way around the flank. There's a Dread Serpent coming out on the front line, sneaking around the back, though. Mikasa has this arrow drawn. He has the Imperial arrow queued up, ready to find a stun, but again, it's Skullis finding a double kill in the back line.
Yeah, and it's just going to be too late for Mikasa. He's still alive, lurking about somewhere, but Black Dragons were able to clean up, and now they're going to get a forward position. Their plan here is to try and disrupt as much as possible, maybe get some picks, maybe get some kills, and if they do die, they're so far forward that by the time they respawn, they're in position yet again.
Great timing from Knight and the boys to take out Skullis coming out of Ice Block. He's been a big impact player for Black Dragons. Mikasa being very careful, working his way slowly around the map. I'd like to see just let some of these arrows go. He needs to keep that movement speed up to have an impact on some of these fights. A very clumped out fight is going to be in favor of Androx. Death awaits you all, accursed arm. Range from the sky. Doesn't find any kills just yet, but a nice box in the line is going to go the way of Pings.
Pings was doing very well there, but he will get taken down by Yijing on that Ruckus, who can just gun him down. There's really no way to dodge those shots. Bisco falls to Spira, who on this Makoa is making a huge impact, and we've seen him play very well, even against D69.
Holding things down. His support is now returning. Repulsor fail. He's going to go into the Ancient Rage. The turtle hacking his way through Black Dragons, trying to go for this conversion. 47 seconds remain on this payload push. About 40% of the way left to go here. Skullis in the Ice Block. Dredge Anchor is going to be down, going into Planet, but he's feeding the reversal. He's going to take a lot of damage on the way out. So has a chance he will fall. Skullis tearing things up in the back line. What can be done about this Eevee.
Yeah, Skullus is just doing so much work in these team fights, and he's got to be controlled. That Eevee just can't be stopped if he's just running around doing so much damage. The payload cart, 20 seconds left, and QG have to get on it at the 0-second mark to force the overtime and push it in.
They have a nice little grouping here, just trying to get their feet back under them. That's a nice long-range stun. Eevee gonna go down. Ruckus so good at taking out those low HP Eevees as they're coming out of Ice Block. Hexafire's coming to lay down as we head into overtime. There's one kill for Yejing. He's looking for more. He smells the blood in the backline. Impaler arrow, and one more shot is gonna take out Pings.
I'm loving this Chinese tank play. They're just so beefy in the front line, pushing forward. Your sight fails you as Shaolin goes into the heat haze, but Fernando is going in, and he's gonna start this fight off right.
We gotta watch Skullus impale arrow to the wall, but it doesn't come out in time. Eevee's gonna get into the ice block, soaring now onto the high ground, goes into Planet, wants to go toe-to-toe with Makona's Chosen. He's gonna take him down.
And now it's continuing the fight. Skullus blinking up. There's only one member left as the Ruckus will fall. Overtime will end, and a successful defense from Black Dragons ties the game up 1-1.
They are able to hold it, and they will be receiving a point. The payload push is all or nothing, so the defense holding there ties things up. Like Kret mentioned, the net worth is all over the place. This is neck and neck.
Yeah, but the big thing is the Ruckus on top. 2,200 credits is so much, and he's already spent it in quite a few ways. Wrecker, Haven, and Master Riding. And I really want to highlight that Master Riding. We see 4 of them in the game right now, and that's going to allow these frontliners to get to the point as soon as possible.
Yep, they're just trying to beat everyone there. So much setup and momentum is required for Ruckus in a lot of situations. Key ultimates here, though, going to be on the side of Black Dragons. A lot was spent from QG to try and get the win there. We're going to see Dread Serpent available, Scouts available, so they'll have vision of everyone headed in. There it comes out, blinking up, actually getting hooked up onto the high ground. There's the Dread Serpent to find the zone. A great wombo combo with the Cursed Arm. 2 kills going the way of Black Dragons.
All the ultimates coming out, and it's going to look good for Black Dragons as 4 members of QG fall. The 5th is going to drop in just a moment as this turtle is defenseless.
Triple kill for the support player. This is how you separate yourself from the pack. Flame Zito having a huge impact on that last fight with Dread Serpent.
And that's going to be really huge, but all of the ultimates have been spent. 50% on the capture point, so QG does have a shot if they can get in. Ruckus activates Repulsor Field. Ice Storm dropped, and it's going to be no more mech as well.
A QG frontliner falling is not a good sign. Makoa's defenseless in his shell spin. There's some nice Impaler arrow to Pio, but QG Spear will fall. All things told in the backline right now. Black Dragons in total control at this point.
That's right. QG has not been able to touch the capture point yet, but now they might have an opportunity. The grenade is going to find Fernando as Knight picks up 2 kills, with Bisca falling as well. Ping's taken down by Knight for the triple, which is going to allow QG to get some point time. But here's Eevee.
Yep, she's blinking in right now. Needs to be careful. Doesn't have her team with her. Doesn't see Knight right here. Sneaking up onto the blink's going to give her the bonus damage, but Knight snuffs this one out. He says, I'm headed straight back to the backline. I'm not having any of that. Butters is here, hooked out immediately. He'll go into the shield, but how long will it stand? Those Wrecker 2s are ripping through Fernando Shan. Grab pressure in the backline right now. Skullus, another double kill in the backline. This man can't be stopped. Triple kill for the Eevee player, showing he's coming to play. Could be a quadra here. Ying is highly fortified. Another one goes to Skullus.
Yeah, we'll call it the interrupted quadra. Skullus is such an impact player for Black Dragons, and he will allow them to capture the point. Now pushing forward, they have control of the payload. They need to make the most of this 2 minute, 30 seconds.
Has Cauterized 2 online. Skullus getting in deep. A nice Ice Storm's going to shut down a lot of the frontliners' mobility and give his team the opportunity they need to clean it up. But Knight fighting his way back. 2 kills in this engagement. QG are down, but not out. Knight needs one more shot to take him down. The peel is going to be good. Yejing keeping his backliners alive.
That was a nice hold from QG, and now they need to fortify around the payload. It's in the first checkpoint, so they got some great opportunities, and a nice dismount onto Wakono's Chosen of Maldamba is going to allow them some nice ways to outflank their opponents.
Hexafire is available here. There's a lot of protection for this Ruckus right now. Dread Serpent coming out. Mikasa trying to stay alive. He's going to bring down one with him, but it's Skullus once again in the back line. There's a Hexafire on the front line, trying to lay down the pain on the Black Dragons. No kills for that, but Knight is there to clean him up.
I'm loving the way Knight is playing this Victor, but Makoa charging forward, gets the pull. 1,000 health, pulled around and flipped around, and he will fall on that Cassie. Skullus still disrupting, though, and he's just doing so well this game. Sure, he's died 9 times. He's got Master Riding. He's right back in the fight.
9 deaths, but 18 killing blows for Skullis. That's the way he wants to play. Brazil's very passionate. He's going all in on these kills, blinking into the backline now. All his mobility cooldowns are down. This is a dangerous spot for him to be in. Gonna sit in this ice block, but he doesn't have any choices to go, and Drox is from the sky, raining down a cursed arm. But once again, doesn't really get a lot done with it now. It will all come down to just landing those revolver shots in QG's backline. 2 for 1 in favor of Black Dragons.
Bizka might not be finding the ults, but he is definitely finding those shots, and Ruckus, being the last remaining player from QG on that payload, will fall, and now it's up to QG to hold one more time. 30 seconds left on the clock, so if they hold this and then they maintain the overtime and don't let Black Dragons push it, they will defend this round.
A couple of key ultimates here, looking at Heat Haze from Mikasa, looking at Barrage from Knight, Immortal from Butter, and an Ice Storm could come out again. There's the audio cue for the Heat Haze. Shaolin is invisible for the next 8 seconds.
Oh.
A big shot from Mikasa is going to blow this fight open in favor of QG.
Knight in a bit of trouble. He's trying to hustle away and will get some help from his team, but Sol is giving chase and he will fall. Now Meldamba around the side. Fernando pushes into overtime, but there's so many players from QG here, and all they need is a good hook. I didn't hear the anchor though.
They're split up right now. QG are holding strong right now. Could go off the map. This is a dangerous position for both players. Dredge Anchor gonna miss. Trading out shot for shot. It looks like Spearo's gonna back off, but rolling forward, very aggressive. Shell spin towards the edge here. Overtime still ticking through. This 1v1 is eating up. Fernando on the front line, looking to melt a couple of frontliners down, but he steps off the payload one more time. This overtime ticking out 2-2.
Fernando in a no-win situation there. Either he dies on the point or tries to loop around and stay alive, but as overtime lasts, it gets shorter and shorter. So he stepped on the off the point for 2 seconds. Overtime ended, and now it's 2-2. QG and Black Dragons all tied up, but the story of this game is Skullis on that EV. QG needs to find a response, but they've all picked Haven. They don't have blast shields to mitigate her damage.
Yeah, Black Dragons ahead in the damage department. That's to be expected with the heavy hitting lineup that they have. The double frontliner not far behind though. Ruck is sitting at 63,000, and oh my god, the cauterizes coming out are seriously starting to affect Flame Zito. He is getting blown away on the healing charts.
Yeah, Flam Zito definitely is not able to heal as much as Ying. She's just dropping those illusions, and now with her ultimate available, she can heal everyone all at once. But it's a flank around from Black Dragons, and they're starting the fight off with a great way to take advantage and get rid of Mikasa.
Butters into face Skullis, 2 kills already. Flame Zito throwing his 2 cents in as well. A Dread Serpent, all of the control for Black Dragons. A clean 5-4-0.
And here's the thing, they've still got 2 ultimates. They've got Immortal for defense, they've got a Cursed Arm for offense, and so I think Black Dragons, they're gonna get this point. QG, it's gonna take a miracle.
54% and climbing from Black Dragons. There's a Ruckus going blazing by with that Master Riding. Skullis caught on his trail, however, sights him out, wants to keep him in his sights, just now getting dismantled. There's the Barrage. That Victor is so vulnerable. Nice ice block, but the final shot from Barrage gonna clean up Skullis.
A Cursed Arm up in the air is going to find a kill onto Mikasa, and now it's just the revolver shots from Bizka doing fairly good work. Fernando pushing forward to the point, but pulled in is Bizka. He's going to use reversal, but he will fall nonetheless as Ancient Rage comes out on the point.
Trying to stay alive. Immortal to keep anyone up from Black Dragons. 87%. This is so close, but QG starting to inch their way back in control of the zone around the point. Skullis, once again, the only one left alive. 25 kills now for this Eevee. He's doing a great job trying to keep everyone distracted, trying to create space for his team to make their way back in.
Mikasa got baited and taken down as the team from Black Dragons converged on their Eevee. Now they're on the point. Ice Storm on the point as well. Cassie shooting down, should be able to get this Ying.
Nice big shot from Skullis, and Pings at the same time will finally take out the support from QG. Skullis looking for more, and Pings is going to be there to support him. Black Dragons 99 on the point, ticking in overtime, but it feels like just a formality as Black Dragons go up with a chance to close out game number 1.
Black Dragons now, if they push this payload car all the way, will win this game 4-2. If they do not, it's going to be 3-3, and whoever captures the next point will win. But Bizka, he's out of position, and I think he's going to die here.
Oh, he misses the reversal, doesn't get the reset on the Nether Step Knight. Gonna clean that one up fairly easily. Still just moving right along. QG not in position to make the defense. They're all on the high ground. They want to just hold their base. They're giving up about half of this payload push, and it's a great hook to pick Pings into the back line and try and start this fight off on the right foot for Black Dragons.
But Ping's positioning is so clean. You just can't catch him out. Flamzito will fall, though, and Skullis going in, not able to find the hits or find the pick, as QG has fortified their front line, and now Black Dragons are going to have to group up, go in together, and bust this turtle wide open.
Ice Storm now available for Skullis.
How many Ice Storms has he had this game?
That's the point. Here comes another one. He is really letting them rip and getting them charged up quickly here. Here's a Hexafire, though, to try and buy some time, and time will be bought. Knight, Yejing, 2 for 0 in favor of QG. Black Dragons on the back foot after what seemed like a great start.
Yeah, they're on the back foot, and they're not able to get back to this cart. They dropped the Ice Storm there, but there just wasn't enough follow-up. His Butter will fall to Spiro with the help of Knight, who, when he is not getting hunted down by this Eevee, he's pumping out a ton of damage in the back line.
Definitely 1 minute remaining here on the payload push for Black Dragons, trying to close out game number 1 over Team QG. There's Skullis getting into the back line. The Shaolin pick could be huge, waiting on the grenade. The ice block will immune all of that, but impale to the wall, and Knight is able to clean it up.
Yeah, beautiful shot from Knight there as Bizka falls as well. And now there's very little damage left for Black Dragons. Unless Pings can carry this fight, it's going to be tough. But a beautiful stun on Knight will slow down the gunfire from Victor. Ruckus falls as well. Now Fernando's in trouble.
They need to keep this front liner alive. Knight needs to be under pressure, and Skullis is hot on his case. He's going to soar around, but he's going to miss that shot. Knight's going to get away for it now, and the support actually trying to body block right now. That's going to be in favor of the support. He is under the healing rain of his illusions. He's going to come out on top of that 1v1.
Master Lu with that masterful aim will find the kill onto Skullis, and now Makoa and Ruckus are holding the front line. Ancient Rage is available, but he doesn't want to use it. Dread Serpent comes out. He might not get to use it. Spira deleted on the front line.
Ruckus falling very low, though. Yejing, it's going to be risky for him to go in here. All of his defensive cooldowns are popped, and it doesn't matter. Black Dragons, Mikasa in the backline, however, with a heat haze. Nobody sees him, and Droxus is coming. Planted is down right now. Impaler arrow could come out. There's one. Can he find the next Eevee? Blinks to safety, but Mikasa threads the needle. Triple kill for Mikasa. The desert wind is blowing right now. Trying to get through this Fernando shield. Goes into Planted and shreds through the front line. Defense going to be successful. Huge plays out of Mikasa.
There is absolutely one reason that did not convert for Black Dragons, and that is Mikasa. Getting the perfect frags at the perfect time to hold the defense. And now pushing forward, you've got Cauterize 2 for 2 members of QG, Wrecker 3. So Black Dragons are going to have trouble holding this front line. But the key for them has always been the flanks.
And they traded out ultimate for ultimate there. Heat Haze to counter the Dread Serpent. Accursed Arm going to be available here. Immortal going to be available for Black Dragons. 92% on the Ice Storm, so we can go ahead and call that ready to go. QG Knight going to have Barrage available to him. Ancient Rage as well. The tools are in the toolkit, Kret.
Yeah, I think what it's going to come down to is that we just need Black Dragons to flank around and find those kills onto Mikasa and Master Lu. I mean, 90 kills for Mikasa tells me he's a big part of this fight, but a Cursed Arm could take him down.
He's got to find more than that. He finds 1 kill into reversal. No one's really there to shoot it, and a Dredge Anchor from that is going to seal his fate. Trading out kill for kill, however. No one taking a convincing win in this fight. There's 1 Serpent stun, but will it be enough? Yejing just pedal to the metal right now. Wrecker going to shred through. Here's the Hexafire. He wants to live. He's going to take 1 down with him.
Ping's able to find that shot right as he rolled out of the way. That was beautiful play from the Cassie from Black Dragons. And now there is some point in time going the way of Black Dragons, but it seems like QG has surged forward, and with their Makoa on the point, it's anyone's game.
Able to take 1 kill down there with the Barrage, but like you mentioned, not convincing wins on either side.
Oh.
Team QG just starting to pull ahead, threading the needle there. Dredge Anchor is going to give the man advantage the way of QG. Spyro's not done yet. He's going to eat a Serpent stun here, but another confirmed Dread Serpent will take down Maldamba. Ice Storm on the front of the line, though. QG are holding strong.
That's right, 80% on the capture point. Butter with only 250 health, and he's going to fall. And now who from Black Dragons can down on the point? It's Cassie, but she's not made for this. She's going to go down, and Droxus as well. And it looks like QG are going to hold this one. But where's someone's on the point?
Ancient Rage came out a little early, but it worked out as Dread Serpent was popped. He was able to immune that, keep the damage up. Nice dredge anchor to cancel out Fernando's shoot. QG holds strong, and they take game number 1 in a close fashion.
That's going to be QG going up 1-0 in this best of 5. If they win 2 more, they will now be 1-1 for today, and that was beautiful play out of Spira.
There's some smiles coming out, finally cracking there for QG. They are happy with their performance, and now it's straight back to stoicism as they are looking forward to game number 2. Both drafts were phenomenal, I feel, from both of these teams. The execution, like we mentioned, when the execution was there, either team could take the fight. Black Dragons looking a little bit flustered right now, leaning back in their chairs. Communication has to stay high right now. They can't get frustrated. They played a great game. This is not the time to get down on yourselves. I'd be proud of yourselves.
Man, and I think it comes down to Skullist, right? He just did so much in this game. How much damage did he do? Let's check the scoreboard and take a look, because on Eevee, you know, sometimes she's not as high damage as some other characters because she's spending so much time being mobile, but 120k Skullist and Pings were the 1-2 punch of Black Dragons.
5 solo kills, dueling out. Great job from both flankers, BZ and Skullist, 4 and 5 kills respectively there, but Mikasa was able to win a lot of those 1v1s there on Shaolin, and that's just so important when the peel isn't there, because Spira had plenty to deal with on the front line.
Yeah, you know, I think what it came down to was that QG was sticking together, playing as a group, and you can see that in the scoreboard, right? The damage is much more spread out, whereas it's all aggression coming out from Black Dragons, and there's so much damage from Skullist, from Spings, and let's not forget Bizka, who had some really good shots with his revolver. Flamzito, his healing was much lower than Master Lu, but I don't think that's him misplaying. I think he's just going for the stuns.
Yeah, and a lot of that, I think, comes down to his team is going to operate pretty spread out, and there are a lot of flank routes, a lot of line-of-sight cutoffs on Circuit Beach, so there just wasn't the angle for him to get at Skullist, to get at BZ, but Ping's obviously going to be one of his targets. Butter as well. Butter with 245,000 shielding as Fernando.
The other thing that's really interesting for me is top point time for Black Dragons is the support Flamzito. He's standing on the point while Fernando is forward zoning, and from there, with his instant fire heal, he's able to support his team from long range. So that can be really helpful, and it makes a lot of sense. But, you know, what happened in that last fight? Why did QG manage to get that comeback?
QG were just narrowly able to escape, I think, getting a little bit more value for their ultimates. A huge play. Actually, I thought it was, you know, just a little confidence coming out. Spira pops Ancient Rage, right?
Yeah.
What seemed like pretty early, because I think he thought the game was over. Turns out it wasn't. Flamezito comes blazing around the corner, drops the Dread Serpent on point. Thank God he was CC immune, and he was able to get a lot of work done while they were focusing on the CC targets.
Yeah, I actually really like that, right? Like, either we win the game here, or I'm in my ultimate when they step on the point, and it's a win-win for Makoa. The other big ult for me was that Ruckus ult, right? It might have seemed a little weird. He's about to die. He's 1v2. There's a Fernando with a huge shield, like 8,000 health. And he just says, you know what, I'm going to ult. Fernando picks up his shield, but it doesn't matter. And he gets that kill, which then allows QG to fight again on the point in a much more favorable match, because Fernando's dead for 10 seconds while Makoa's on the point.
It's a great look, because Hexfire, it's tough to find a window in which that is the correct situation to use that ultimate there. It requires some setup. Ruckus completely, you know, I don't want to say vulnerable, because he's laying down the highest DPS in the game in that ultimate, but he is vulnerable for all intents and purposes.
He's pretty stationary.
He has to just basically stand where he is and just go pedal to the metal. And the decision to do that, it takes a lot of commitment, a lot of listening to the call, as both teams are communicating furiously throughout the match.
That's right. And, you know, going to the second game, I think the big question is for QG, the Makoa was critical for them. I think it was probably their most effective pick. But Eevee was critical for Black Dragon, so do you maybe take Eevee, maybe give up the Makoa and see what you can do with her? Because I don't think Skillis should be allowed to play this again.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. One thing from Black Dragons, though, not bringing out the Drogos. We haven't seen Drogos yet today, and he's really the best way in a lot of intensive purposes for dealing with double frontliner.
Sure.
That Dragon Punch doesn't care how much health you are. It's percentage based. Just immediately taking out those tanks can be so important.
Yeah, and with his Fire Spit and a card named Masterful, he's able to spread out the team by using this ability repeatedly, detonating his Fire Spit for big explosions that knock people back. Drogos could be really big here.
You mentioned we haven't seen it yet. I'm hoping we see it in this set. Maybe something to pick up for Black Dragons, as I think this double tank is really working for QG.
Yep, and great damage coming out of the back line from QG. That was such a big, important part of their success. And a lot of that, well, they're not quite as high as Black Dragons, but a lot of that was dumped into Butter's stat, shielding 245,000 damage. That may as well be some stats for QG, as they were in charge of ripping through that. Mikasa picking up that wrecker on Shaolin, scaling up his auto attacks to make that shield look like a weight. Pepper Talon still finding 5 solo kills, still looking after himself for all intents and purposes in the backline. Was a beautiful, but would you like to see a little bit less focus on just these low mobility glass cannons for QG?
I don't know, man. I can't. Mikasa had that impact frag triple kill right at the end of the third round, and that saved the game. Straight up all him.
Yeah, it was absolutely insane. That's a more difficult ultimate to use. It's more of that utility style. It's not just that team fight wipe ultimate like a
I
Cursed
can't
Arm
use it. I'm
or
garbage
any of
with
that.
that
It's
all.
100% utility. All it really gives you is some invisibility, some misdirection with clones, but it's still all on Mikasa to hit the shots. It doesn't get any easier in Heat Haze.
And on the other hand, Knight is just, the moment he's not being focused, he's immediately outputting great damage, having some really good grenade tosses, and his barrage was very impactful in these team fights, because Victor's ultimate, he just drops bombs on the same spot, 1, 2, 3. Well, he can pick different spots, but usually it's in a clump, right? And you're able to disrupt that team fight so much. It's really loud, and it's you know, it just sort of sets you off kilter. It makes you uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's a tough one to land as well. Not a lot of setup for QG, but he was finding the windows to get it done. Another great decision I like from Knight, as we talked about Victor, he's not super high mobility, but he's more on the low side. And a lot of times you have to make the tough call to just go pedal to the metal, put my aim against your aim.
Yeah.
Try and come out on top against Skullis, or at least soften him up for your teammates, because we saw when Skullis went uncontested in the back line, he was going huge. 49 eliminations for the EV player from Black Dragons. Absolutely insane performance, but that's going to do it for game number 1. Let's head back over to the map draft.